Pieter Engelbrecht, who is the Chief Executive of Shoprite. Pieter, many thanks for your time this afternoon. Let's perhaps start with the salient features of the numbers that we saw in this period.
I think to say 8.1% revenue growth, it's to put that in a meaningful way is, that's in excess of 12 billion rand of additional sales that had to be added to this year. So I think that just gives one a feel for the number. Otherwise, it's just a percentage. The other call out is that although visits have been down about 4%, customers do shop more items in every basket, so very critically important that one's on-shelf availability is of high standard. And with the internal inflation for the year leveling out at 3.8%, important for me to make mention of the 3.2% volume growth, which have greatly also assisted suppliers and manufacturers to keep their cost at bay. If there's no price increases, then there are very little other mechanisms to keep that cost at bay. And then maybe just to round that off is the gain in market share of 4.5 billion on top of last year 4.8 billion, with the increase in the gross margin, pretty much says a lot about how the year has treated us financially.
Yeah, it's treated you better than most, Pieter, but I see that Shoprite has made the decision not to open 6 stores. You've called these loss-making stores. What informed this decision, and really what happens to the jobs in those 6 stores that have been implicated? Also, were these stores that were also looted, or were they just loss-making stores?
No. So we had 231 stores that were impacted with the unrest. Of them, 150 is already open. We've got 83 stores closed, of which 47 was burned, and of that 47, 6 will not open again. For various reasons, we don't own those stores. We've got landlords that have to decide what they're going to do with their shopping centers, where they're going to continue trading, etc. What is talking about the jobs? So we've had 3,500 of our employees being impacted. Their place of work doesn't exist anymore, or was closed for some period of time. We have carried all of those 3,500 people with us because we believe that's the right thing to do.
Yes, and you have indeed become the biggest private sector employer, and I must say that is very positive for South Africa's ailing economy. But also analysts, Pieter, are saying that Shoprite has the experience to turn those businesses that you bought from Massmart. How long do you think it's going to take for you to turn them around? And really, what is the plan for those cash and carry businesses that you bought?
So we will integrate those stores within the Shoprite brand and environment. We've got various formats, as you know, from a eNCA store, a USafe, a Shoprite Mini, and a standard Shoprite. They will be rebranded. We think we can integrate them quite seamlessly within our environment. That is what Shoprite has been good at for years, is low prices and a very efficient supply chain to be able to stock those stores. And we expect approvals around February of next year, and thereafter I think it would be quite a efficient and short process to integrate them within the group.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring up that low-cost market that is seemingly it's working for a Shoprite. Any benefit here from the fact that that 350 Rand grant has been extended by government? How important is that for Shoprite, particularly that USafe market?
Yes, and you're right. It is important to us. On the one hand, the 350 makes up for a bit of the fact that the overall grants have had increases sub the inflation, so that affected people quite negatively. So very pleased, and yes, it is important for the Shoprite consumer disposable income with the unemployment at the levels where it is currently.
Right, and then just a final thought from you. I mean, there's a lot of talk amongst analysts and the like about the fact that Checkers is chasing that premium market that's usually dominated by the likes of Woolworths, and it looks like there is some growth for Checkers there. How are you getting that customer? And I suppose the big thing here is the retention of the customer in the current climate.
So the journey on that started 4 years odd ago, maybe even a little bit earlier. The first thing we had to do is we had to give the customers the offering that they are looking for, the product sets, the kind of product development that we've put in, the convenience food, the branded things, the partnerships that we formed with the likes of Starbucks and Kauai and all them. And once we had the product suite to attract a more affluent customer, we were then able to open that channel and attract more of those consumers with the value that the Checkers brand offer. So now we had the product, and it comes at very good value, and that is how we attracted them. We also have got the drive to the Fresh X stores, as we call them. It's just a bigger fresh offering. And yes, we're very happy that over the last 4 years, we've been able to almost hedge the economy between the two brands and having a larger penetration in the more affluent market, while we also have a very large penetration in the middle to lower income market. And now we know some people are more resilient in bad economies than others just because of their income levels, and we can now balance our business between these market segments.
Pieter Engelbrecht, thank you so much. And that is Shoprite CEO giving us a sense of the performance, a very impressive performance, one that created jobs and one that looks positive for the South African economy.